In part one, we explored a provocative idea that reality may function like a high-fidelity simulation, one in which a player operates through an avatar inside a constructed world once called Maya. We introduced the electric universe as a possible mechanism, a way planetary motion could influence the avatar without ever touching the player. And we ended with a critical reminder. No matter how convincing the illusion becomes, the player is not the avatar. This second video deepens that investigation. Because if reality truly is a simulation, we must ask a deeper question. What is the simulation made of? To explore that, we must step beyond conventional science. Not because science is wrong, but because science studies the avatar's world, not the player. To understand the architecture of the simulation itself, we enter the realm traditionally called metaphysics, meta meaning beyond. And here, we encounter a remarkably old framework that feels strangely modern, the Hermetic framework. Long before modern physics, a body of knowledge attributed to Hermes Trismegistus emerged in ancient Egypt and later Greece and Rome. Hermes, known as Mercury to the Romans, was associated with communication, mediation, and hidden order. His teachings were later distilled into a short work called the Kybalion, which describes 7 organizing principles governing reality. Rather than treating these as mystical slogans, we will examine them as design rules, clues to how a simulation might be structured. 1. The principle of mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental in nature. This does not mean imagination replaces physics. It means that form precedes substance. In modern terms, this is not foreign. Every digital world begins as information, code rendered into appearance. Today's computer simulations already generate lifelike worlds. It is not difficult to imagine a future or a deeper layer of reality, where perception itself is rendered. Even physics supports this intuition. Atoms are not solid objects. They are structured vibrations, mostly empty space, stabilized by fields and motion. Solidity is not substance. It is persistent pattern. 2 to 5. Vibration, polarity, rhythm, and duality. At the level of the avatar's world, reality unfolds through opposites: expansion and contraction, charge and discharge, action and reaction. Hermetic philosophy calls these forces masculine and feminine, not as biological genders, but as directional principles. One projects, the other receives. In Eastern philosophy, this appears as yang and yin. The familiar symbol is not static. Its curved boundary implies motion, each force transforming into the other over time. This transformation produces rhythm, and rhythm, when measured, becomes a wave. A sine curve is what emerges when opposing forces interact through time. We see this everywhere: day and night, seasons, tides, heartbeats, electrical currents. At the equinoxes, forces balance. At the solstices, one dominates completely. Astrology encodes these turning points symbolically, not as superstition, but as a cyclical map of change. Within the Hermetic principle of polarity, difference is not opposition but degree. The sine curve illustrates this clearly. Polarity is measured by how far the wave rises above or falls below the baseline. The greater the amplitude, the greater the experienced contrast. At the equator, polarity is minimal. Seasonal change is slight. Variation is subdued. As one moves north or south, contrast intensifies. Summer becomes hotter, winter colder. The swing from one extreme to the other increases. Human relationships follow the same law. Romantic bonds often carry the greatest amplitude. Heightened passion brings heightened vulnerability. Individuals welcome the summer phase, connection, warmth, expansion, but resist the winter phase, distance, contraction, tension. Yet both are expressions of the same wave. The avatar cannot isolate one crest and discard the trough. Pleasure and pain are not separate forces. They are degrees along the same continuum. Where amplitude exists, both will appear. 6. the principle of cause and effect. This principle is often misunderstood. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. But this does not mean balance is maintained. When yang initiates motion, yin does not merely receive and stop. It accumulates. Momentum continues until a counterforce arises. This is why systems overshoot equilibrium in pendulums, markets, emotions, and civilizations. Cause and effect unfold across time, not instantaneously. 7. The principle of correspondence. As above, so below. This is not poetic metaphor. It is structural recursion. Complex systems reuse simple rules across scales. A computer game generates vast landscapes from compact equations. Likewise, reality appears to reuse patterns, orbits, spirals, cycles, archetypes. Numbers, ratios, and harmonics become the grammar of creation. Astrology, at its core, is a symbolic language designed to describe these patterns, not merely to predict events, but to map levels of experience. Seen this way, the Hermetic principles do not contradict science. They describe the logic beneath it. They suggest that Maya, the simulation, is structured, rhythmic, and intelligible, and that astrology, properly understood, is not fortune-telling, but a navigation system for the avatar inside the game. In the next video, we will explore how numbers and archetypes function as the true language of the simulation, and why numbers may be the bridge between mind, matter, and meaning. If you get anything out of these videos, please comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. Until next time, remain curious.